school, and it started to fall to pieces. Doors fell off, chairs came adrift, desks came adrift, lavatory seats came asunder, blackboards or green boards they had on the wall fell off, and they couldn't understand it. Until one day the deputy headmaster saw, after the day's session, saw one of the pupils struggling home with this case he could hardly carry it, and he called him back into the office and he opened it, and it was full of screws and a screwdriver. It was like they got a yen for screws. Also his father was a carpenter. He was unscrewing everything in the blooming school. Anyway, the staff room I shared with the English teacher. He was a snob. He'd been to Sandhurst and the Indian Army, don't you know what? But he was very good on sport. In winter, every Tuesday afternoon in New South Wales, it was sports day. Football in winter, cricket in summer. In winter, he'd referee the football matches and even run along with the teams, and he was over 40, it was not bad. But cricket was his fortissimo. And he'd won the New South Wales trophy 2 years in succession. And it came to the time when they were playing for the third year in the final. And if he won this one, they could keep the cup for always. So he set off, I went out somewhere else. And when he came back, he was across the classroom, and I called across I said to him, oh, I'm remembering the story. He was also a whiskey tippler, this Major Hardwick. So much so that when he was teaching, he'd leave a classroom, slip into the staff room, have a swig of whiskey, throw a lozenge into his mouth, and go back again to the classroom. Anyway, he came back from this cricket match, and I called across and said, how did you get up, Major? Thumbs up, meaning that he got there, won the cup. But the Australian board headmaster had seen him in the office, and he sent for him straight away. He said, don't you ever let me see that sign again in the Australian playground. Hardwick said, that sign means A1 at Lloyd's all over the world. Not in Australia, no. It means up your bum. He was furious with Mark. Anyway, the following morning, I picked up the Sydney Morning Post, Sydney Morning Herald, and on the front page was a picture of the Queen at a race meeting, and a horse had won, and she was giving the thumbs up sign. I took it to the school. Hardwick was sitting at his desk, about 10 to 9 it was, drinking his first whiskey, and I put it gently in front of him. He looked at it, he couldn't get across to the headmaster quick enough. What he said to him, I don't know. But unfortunately, he'd been reported for whiskey drinking, and he got the sack. But he outdid the headmaster because he started his own private school and became a headmaster himself. Now, at the moment, so much for the schools. I bought a car, a second-hand car, and we decided to go up to the Blue Mountains to meet Elizabeth's Aunt Minnie in a place called Katoomba, about 75 miles from Sydney. Now when we got there, the house was at the bottom of the steepest that you could think of. And Minnie had only got one leg. She'd had it amputated when she was 13 through tuberculosis. And she and a companion had gone out in 1911 as embroiderers to the Bishop of Sydney. And then they set up their own business, supplying all the big fashion houses with embroidery, and they did very well. Employed a lot of girls. But they now were retired and living in this place, Pine Street, at the bottom of this big hill. And Minnie was studying Shakespeare, convinced that he was written by Sir Francis Bacon. There was no such man as Shakespeare. Sir Francis Bacon had written all Shakespeare. And she'd got correspondence from all round the world. Tommy, her companion, used to save the stamps. She got a box full of foreign stamps. Anyway, we started going up every weekend. And on the third weekend, Tommy said to me, you know, Minnie's not been out of this house for 6 years. Do you think you could coax her to go for a drive in your car? So I did. I said, come on, mate. get in the front, so I was into the front seat. He said, what I'd like to do is go around the racetrack. Now, at the bottom of our road was a motor racing track. She said, I've heard them going round several times, and by the sound of the screech of brakes and the rev of the engine, she said, I've always got the shape of the track in my mind, but I'd like to go round and see if I'm right. So we drove up this dusty path into the entrance, over which was a notice. This is a public racing track. The public are allowed to drive round when on non-racing days. Speed limit 30 miles an hour, prosecution if exceeded. So I drove around, nice 39 steady miles an hour, which is very nice, but said, surely this is a racetrack, oh, what about that? Oh, you should have taken it out, she said that. Show me what you can do. So I went round a little bit faster. Yeah. No, she said, she was giving me a thrill. Go on, show me what you can do. I did. Fool-like. I put my foot down. So much so that I almost lost my bowels in the S-bend. But halfway round I saw the dust of this police car going up the path. When I got round again there was a police car right across the track. I pulled up amid steam and dust. Two of them got out, one a tall fella, a little fella. The tall fella came round to my side. You gone to a place, mate? Well, I'm just trying to help us out, you know. And then Minnie leaned over, she said, it's all my fault, officer. All my fault, she said. I wanted to see if the speed limit could reach my age. Oh, yes, Mum. And did it? Oh, yes, handsomely. And how old are you, Mum? Oh, it's sort of 88 on Thursday. 88 bloody miles an hour. And a 30 mile an hour limit.